ladies, my name is Amanda. I'm the gal behind Move the Mountains, for those of you who don't know me. And for the month of October, I really felt led to share my story of hope here on social media, and particularly my story of being delivered from suicide. And so, as a teenager. And this is video 2 of my story, so it would mean a lot to me if you stuck around and tuned in, because most of us, our lives have been touched by suicide in some way, and even if not, a good dose of hope for each of us can do the body good. So in part 1, I described how God completely set me free from suicidal thoughts as a teenager just by reading his word. It was so simple and so beautiful. And if you're dealing with any sort of emotional turmoil or darkness in your life, I would suggest you go and watch it, because I describe what the Word of God can do in our hearts, and how it can bring healing and purify that darkness, and just penetrate the darkness that we feel. So you might think my story of hope ends there, but it doesn't, because God took it deeper and weaved such beauty into it that 15 years later, it still makes me cry. So I'm going to have to read my pieces of paper, because I'm going to cry. For those of you who have also personally dealt with suicidal thoughts, you know it's like a grave that opens up in your mind and your heart, and it's like a cave that you can become lost in. And so we become so lost and so cold and so numb, and we simply can't bear it anymore, and we feel like our only out is to kill ourselves. And so when I recall those years that I dealt with suicidal thoughts, what I really picture is a grave much like Jesus was buried in. So not like a hole in the ground, but like a cave in the side of a mountain. And there was no way out, except Jesus has a miraculous way of still rolling stones away. So around the same time that God completely delivered me from suicidal thoughts, he also showed me something deeper he wove into my story. And it's the meaning of my name. So my name is Amanda, and I've never been particularly fond of it. It's pretty common for my generation, and I feel like I fit all the bad descriptions that go along with the name, most notably bossy and stubborn. So needless to say, I've never really liked Amanda, and so I actually go by Mandy, because who doesn't like a Mandy, right? But for a 16-year-old girl who felt less valuable than a piece of trash, and who felt like if you really saw the real me, there's no way you could love me, because I was too much and not enough all at once. And Amanda was the most beautiful name that I could have, because it literally means worthy of love. God personally saw to it that every single day of my life, it was spoken over me that I was worthy of love. And that was exactly what I felt incapable of. And at the very moment I needed it the most, he revealed that to me. And there's something so beautiful about God's timing, because it plays into his storytelling. And so I remember sobbing on the floor, because it was the first time that I had hope that I was worthy of love. And that God cared for me so much. And after that moment, I could never turn my back on him, because he rescued me from certain death. He rescued me from the grave. About 2 years ago, the band Passion came out with a song that feels like it was written for me. And it's called Glorious Day. And the lyrics say, "When you called my name, I ran out of that grave." And when God called me worthy of love, when he called me Amanda, when he showed me what that meant, I ran out of the grave of suicidal thoughts and never looked back. As soon as I was out, he rolled the stone in front of the grave and said, "We're done with that." So, if you're listening today and you're dealing with suicide or depression, I want to tell you that there is hope. To take courage, dear heart, there is hope for you too. Don't listen to the devil who says there's no hope for you. He may feel right, he might look right, but he doesn't get the final word, and he's defeated. He's a liar, and I know this because the devil told me the very same thing, and my life is more wonderful than I could have ever dreamed in those darkest moments. So if you're dealing with depression or having thoughts of taking your life, seek help, counseling, and seek God in His Word and through prayer and worship. You're not too far gone that you can't be found, and you're not too much for God to handle. You are worthy of rescue. God has so much planned for you, and He wants to start writing that beautiful story, beginning with right where you're standing right now. Please feel free to share my story of hope anywhere with anyone you feel called to share it with, and give me a thumbs up or a heart so that even more people can see it. Much love, you guys, and I have a couple songs in the description below that might speak to you if you're in a season of darkness right now. Love you guys. Bye.